What's up, gamers? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how to solo queue in Rainbow Six Siege. Before we go any further, there are links to my Twitch and Twitter in the description below, so make sure you go check those out. So this video idea is coming in from Nick DeMarco, who said, "Great video. Do you have any tips on how to play solo queue?" So this one's for you, Nick. If any of you have any other video recommendations or anything you'd like to see, leave them in the comments below and I will make sure to get to them. So solo queuing is like the name suggests, you are queuing into the game playing solo. So it's basically most of the time going to be playing like a 1v5 a lot, which is a pain, but also you can learn a lot from playing solo queue because you can't really crutch on your teammates most of the performance. At least you have to mainly focus on your individual performance and playing by yourself, so it builds more of kind of like an independent play style and builds up your own capabilities of like droning, intel gathering, deciphering the situation, getting kills, using useful operators, whatever it may be. Speaking of operators, the operators you should be playing, here are two great ones, Nomad and Valkyrie. You mainly want to be playing operators that can do a little bit of everything on attack and defense, but then also on defense, mainly some operators that can give you good intel and have good utility. So for example, I would say Sledge is really good. Okay, first off, taking a step back, looking at your team, usually you're not going to have a lot of teammates that have microphones that actually use them and that pick the good operators, right? Lots of the time when you solo queue, you're going to have an Ashe, a Twitch, an IQ, a Zofia, and then like a Buck. So usually what I would do, and that's just kind of a good tip, is to pick your operator last. So let's say you get like a Buck, a Capitao, an Ashe, and then there's one guy left and he picks Thatcher. Then it's like, okay, cool. We have support. We have a support player that can help, so I can go Thermite or I can go Hibana or Ace. And I'm hoping that my Thatcher will actually know what to do and help me get the wall or whatever it may be. Even if your teammates aren't calling out, you should always be calling out, being like, hey Thatcher, can you come help me get this wall or get this hatch or whatever, even if they aren't calling out, because even if you're not getting their information, don't be like, oh well, if they're not going to help me, I'm not going to help them, because that doesn't help anybody, right? If they're not going to say anything, then you should at least try your best to help them, because that will help you win. And maybe, you never know, if you start calling out and giving like, oh hey, somebody's here, somebody's there, can you help me with this? Then somebody who has a microphone and just maybe it was like, oh, nobody else is using one, maybe they'll start speaking up and, you know, giving some call outs, stuff like that. But anyways, back to the operators. So usually you're going to want to pick an operator that can do a lot of stuff by themselves. So I'd say Sledge and Buck are pretty good, mainly because of their capability of playing vertically. That's a really big aspect of the game. Maverick and Ace, because Ace has the best gun in the game statistically. And there is a way you can, Ace is just a really strong hard breach. So if there is a wall that is soft, or what, not soft, but like not electrocuted or something, you can get that, you can Ace charge it. And even if everything is electrocuted or mute jammed, you still have the best gun in the game. But then with Maverick, it doesn't matter if it is electrocuted, you can just Maverick trick it and then be like, hey Ashe, Zofia, can you come impact this wall open or whatever. And even then, he still has a good gun and frag grenades. Characters like Jackal to help you gain intel by yourself, and IQ, Jackal and IQ are really good just because IQ can help your team with gadgets and whatnot, but she also has really good guns. And then Jackal, who can gain intel with the feet and then track down roamers, maybe by himself, and also has good guns. Hopefully you're sensing the common theme here. Operators that you should pick can do things like Sledge and Buck, vertical, Maverick, Ace, hard breach, IQ, Jackal, intel, and they have good guns. I'm also gonna throw Nomad up there just because of her flank watch capability. If you missed my how to play Nomad guide, I showed a way to watch lots of, like, it was on Cafe. I showed you a way to watch all 3 staircases by yourself, which is a really good tip, or just a good creative mindset to have for solo queue. Don't discount operators like Ashe and Zofia though, because clearing utility is important. Those operators will most likely be picked, however. So don't bank on making sure that those will be open to pick. And then looking at defense, kind of the same theme as attack. You're going to want to pick like your operators last. I don't know why, but a lot of people don't pick Jaeger whenever I solo queue. I don't know why, he's never picked. So having a Jaeger is pretty much essential, but defense is going to be more for utility almost. Like, I recommend Valkyrie and Mozzie a lot, and Echo, because they can get their intel, and the common theme here, they have really good guns. Like I said, Jaeger's really important because of his ADSs to stop grenades, pretty essential. And then even somebody like a Bandit and a Cade to deny the wall, that's pretty important as well. On defense, there's gonna be lots of picks, lots of common picks for operators are usually useful. Lots of people play Bandit, Jaeger, and Valkyrie. Those are all good operators, even like a Mozzie or Legion. So there's not really as many things that you need on defense, right? You look at attack, well, you need flank watch, you need something to help with plant, you need hard breach, you need somebody to help with the hard breach, you need gadget clearing, like utility clearing, you need vertical play, you need stuff like that. Rather on defense, it's usually like you need wall denial and you need a Jaeger. That's pretty much it. And then some intel operators are really useful. So somebody like again, Valkyrie, Mozzie, Echo, Cade, Bandit, Jaeger, Wamai, even Legion, you know, somebody with impact so you can help make rotates if your teammates don't have anybody that can make rotates. That's really important. Mainly picking, but make sure you're actually good with the characters you're picking, you know? So, because you want to still help your team, you know? So that's why I recommend like somebody like Legion. His gun's pretty easy, his gadgets are very useful, and he can make rotates with his impacts. Moving on to your play style, like I kind of said earlier, if you don't have like a Thatcher, you don't want to go Thermite most likely, because without a Thatcher, he's not as strong as maybe like a Jackal. You should bring a Jackal instead of a Thermite. You can of course always bring a hard breach even if without a Thatcher, and just hope they don't have a Bandit, Cade, or Mute or somebody like that. But usually you're gonna want to be kind of playing either. There's two main ways to play when you're solo queue. One, play everything like it's a 1v5, right? Almost just auto lock Zofia or Ashe. Just try and get as many kills as you can. Try and play maybe near your teammates, but not necessarily with them. Try and kind of get refrags. Play it like it's a 1v5 is one way. Like use Ashe, Zofia, go for as many kills, and then try and refrag your teammates, so play near them but not necessarily with them. And then the second way is playing like the complete opposite. Play it like it's a 5v5, right? Oh, if they have a Thatcher, okay, cool. I'll play the Thermite, I'll get the wall, I'll go to plant, whatever it may be. Something like that. Try and communicate with your teammates. Usually if you have, I'd say at least 2 other teammates with microphones, you can actually put together a pretty solid attack if those people are communicating. Not super toxic, you know, don't just auto log Zofia and Ashe. Like sometimes it's really nice having somebody that auto locks a Nomad and a Thatcher and have microphones. So then it's like, oh cool, I'll play Thermite. Oh wait, somebody else already played Thermite. Okay, cool, I'll play like Jackal or IQ or Sledge, whatever it may be. And then on defense, the main way to play, it's kind of almost the same thing, but instead of playing it like you play like a 1v5, play like a Vigil or Jaeger, roam, and try and get as many kills as you can. And the other way is not really playing it like a team, but more play the objective, right? Which I guess is the more team way to play defense, but like play an Echo, play Smoke, you know, play more on the objective, try and deny the attackers from pushing in, rather than on attack, actually playing with your team as much. And then for the last point I'm gonna make for this is mentality-wise. When you are solo queue, you cannot rely on your teammates to pretty much do anything, right? If you see that they pick a Thermite, you can't automatically assume, okay, so they're gonna get the wall. That's good. They'll probably like get some useless hatch across the map. It happens all the time, not gonna lie. So you have to be aware of everything that's happening. Lots of the intel gathering, the droning, the communication is gonna rely on your part rather than your teammates. You can't assume that, so we have a teammate in this room. That means that it's clear. That means that they droned it out. No, they can just run in, because that's what a lot of people do. So you have to make sure, you have to be really thorough. Like pretty much everything you know or every information you get has to come from your own gathering. At least for attack. For defense, it's kind of the same way. You got to figure out where they're pushing, and that's mainly going to be kind of by yourself, like on your own accord. That's why people like Valkyrie, Mozzie, Echo, even Pulse are good. get some intel, see where they're pushing from, and then adapt accordingly. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. For the operators, mainly pick operators that bring some sort of utility but can do a lot of things by themselves. So for example, Nomad, Maverick, Sledge, I say are my top attackers. And then for defenders, I'd say Jaeger, Valkyrie, Bandit. Just Jaeger, Valkyrie, Bandit, Arcade, pretty much. Because intel, anti-gadget, anti-wall, hard breach, flank watch, vertical gameplay. For your playstyle, either play by yourself, which is usually what you're going to have to do, especially if your teammates don't have microphones. Or if you do have good teammates that actually understand what they're doing, you can play with them and try and play more as a cohesive unit. As for your mentality, lots of your information you're gathering and using and all the moves you make are going to basically have to come just from what you know. So you're going to need to pay a lot more attention to what's happening. If you hear gunshots, like let's say to your right, you have to be like, okay, so and you can hopefully recognize the gun, like, okay, Jaeger's there, it's a 3v3. Oh, our teammate just died on A site, so we know Echo's on A site. So now that we think B is open, okay, so let's try and push B. Something like that. That's kind of like a bad example, but hopefully you understand the point. Lots of your movements just have to be dependent on yourself and what you understand. So just really paying attention is basically what the mentality is. Pay attention to every single detail and try and squeeze as much information out of it as you can. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, remember to like and subscribe. I stream pretty much every day, link in the description below. If you have any other video ideas you would like to see, make sure you leave them in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and peace out, gamers.